Who's doing the intro of this?
Buy Hasbro products.
Buy
You're not
Hasbro.
holding my family hostage.
There's not a Pinkerton in my house.
Take out a second mortgage and buy some more minis.
Yep.
And also magic cards.
Oh, all the magic cards.
The next set is SpongeBob SquarePants.
The next secret lair is SpongeBob SquarePants. The next set is Wacky
Aether-
Races.
Yeah, Aether Drift or whatever, of which it's going to be a low print run because
Tokyo
nobody.
Drift?
Yeah, because it's Tokyo Drift Magic the Gathering. It's going to be low print run because nobody cares about this set, which means it's going to be worth money.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what it means.
Well,
I mean,
that's usually what it means. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what low print runs usually mean.
To be honest, like,
Hold
Wait,
on,
we didn't do our intro.
Yeah.
that
was the intro.
Oh yeah.
It's a cold
Anyway,
open.
we're the Grumpy Dungeon
It was
Masters.
cold open.
I'm Dumpy Grungeon Master Jay.
Dumpy.
Yes, Dumpy Grungeon Masters. We have Dan, Christian, and Christopher with us. Okay, now we're done. Cool.
Okay. I will say the set they have is very creative. I'm going to talk about just whoever the creative team is at Wizards, at Hasbro, at WotC. They do a fantastic job. Like, yeah, you can make fun of it. You can call it Wacky Races because that's what it is.
Not
But
racing.
the art assets are still amazing. You know, everything feels creative and has a nice flow. Like, I could see like a good board game being built off of this, or a good video game. Like, so, you know,
I mean,
cool. But why is pod racing in Magic the Gathering?
Right, there we go.
It's in Magic the Gathering because they're trying to bring in more people from different areas of the world. I guess.
It's because they
monetization.
It's because they ran out of ideas a long damn time ago.
I don't think it's that they ran out of ideas. I honestly think that the issue that they're experiencing is the same issue that the developers at WotC are feeling with Dungeons and Dragons, where you can't do anything that's not 100% gonna make us money, and so you can't be too creative. You can't be too out there. And we'll talk about it here in a little bit with the new monsters that have come out. Like, it honestly feels like they're just doing their best to kind of lay some kind of nice baseline safe solution, not ruffle anyone's feathers, so the stuff sells and so it can keep selling and they can keep making money. And ultimately it's just going to lead to the brand becoming unwanted because what made it awesome just isn't there anymore.
It's already at that point. It has been for years.
For a lot of people, they think that.
I'm just looking at the set now. I do appreciate the Chandra Spark Hunter play on Canada's bikes slide from Akira. That's fun.
Yeah. I mean, that's absolutely.
That is a really cool looking car. Obviously, yeah. There's no way they cannot do that.
So, like,
I guess
there were a lot of people that were angry that they did that and did the Akira slide on the art card. It's like, motherfucker, like every anime that has, or any piece of media that exists that has a motorcycle in it has done the Akira slide because it's awesome.
Because it's fucking sweet.
Right. Like Batman the Animated Series did it. I think it was actually done in an episode of Sons of Anarchy. Like, everyone does the Akira slide. You're like, get over yourself. You're just being mad at dumb stuff. So then they moved on to like, Chandra's boobs aren't the same size they used to be. Who cares?
Yeah,
honestly, who cares?
Really, that's what we're doing.
I mean, artists are gonna draw just like every comic book ever. Every time like a different art team takes over a book, like all the characters change a little bit.
Yeah,
because they reflect the art style of the artists that are doing that character that time.
So it's honestly like the people are just going crying and complaining about the dumbest shit when they're missing the fact that welcome to the internet.
So
they're just missing the fact that it's relatively okay. The mechanics are neat. The mechanics are creative, and everyone's like, "Oh, Chandra's boobs, not gonna buy." And
I love the fact that the symbol that they use for this set is a fucking NASCAR flag.
Yeah, it's great.
I like
it's awesome.
So I as far as the Akira bike slide homage, if you go to the general chat for us, I just put a link. There's a 45-second video somebody did of 40 different animations and films where that was used.
Yeah.
All the way through like fucking Obi-Wan on a speeder with in Clone Wars to fucking The Simpsons, Bart Simpson sliding in on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
You said Batman. You've got fucking Wolverine. Apparently did it in like his Wolverine origin story.
Probably did it in the Matrix, I would assume. Tron Legacy, absolutely.
Oh yeah, those bikes were so cool. Absolutely. Did in Pokemon. I mean, yeah, it's iconic.
It's iconic. It's a trope for a reason. Use the damn trope. Have a lot of fun with it. Just make sure you do it awesome. That's all that's required. You know.
So while we're at it, do we want to go ahead and talk about 80s tropes?
Yeah, actually, because we do got that amazing 80s book coming out.
Of which I have finally gotten access to it's a PDF of the subclasses and the magic items. It is a playtest. So everything in this is not permanent. It's not official. And that's good because I've looked through a lot of these subclasses. Holy shit, some of them need a lot of work still.
Yeah.
In a like overpowered or underpowered or
both. It just depends. Like Barbarian Path of the Dance it's a weird class a weird subclass where you can swap your dex for your strengths. You can actually swap dex and strength scores by spending 8 hours in a ritual to do it. Cool idea. Cool idea. The problem is rage does not work with dex abilities. So that's they're going to have to take a look at that to make sure that actually works out properly. I mean, the idea is you're supposed to be an agility based barbarian, but who plays a barbarian who doesn't have a lot of strength? So it's
well, I mean, I've seen a lot of angry toddlers. I've had to deal with a lot of angry toddlers. They are quick as shit and they're not strong. So I see a basis for it at least.
Yeah, exactly.
Every angry goblin in existence, no strength, lots of dex.
Yep. So I mean, yeah, there's reasoning behind it. I get it. I just hope they can make the subclass work better. Let's see. We'll just start at the top. There was the Barbarian that I just mentioned, Barbarian Path of the Dance. Then there was Bard, College of Glamorous Metal.
Yeah.
It is exactly what it sounds like. You're in a glam metal band, and I love everything about it. Yeah.
So what is the name for the Barbarian class? Because I know you had shown us some...
It's Barbarian Path of the Dance.
No, like you said that the fighter was called Action Hero.
Action Hero, yeah.
Yeah, Paladin was Highlander, which my wife guessed, by the way. I walked up there and said, hey, the 80s Adventure came out with a playtest. They've named all the classes, 80s tropes. So, like, fighter is the action hero. What do you think the Paladin is? She kind of looked at me and goes, Highlander? I was like, yeah.
Yeah, that checks out.
Yeah.
So what is the Barbarian?
It's Flashdance. If you're trying to say what movie or trope it's tied to, it's Flashdance. Okay. It's what was the one with Jennifer Grey and Patrick Swayze?
Dirty Dancing.
Dirty Dancing. Like it's that sort of trope from the 80s. Then you've got the College of Glamorous Metal, which is the Bard, which is every hair metal band ever.
Yeah.
Armor of Glamour, Resonant Chords, Metallic Inspiration.
Yes. Thunderous Performance.
Mm-hmm. The next one's my favorite.
The artwork for this is absolutely fucking perfect and sold me on it. It is Cleric of Rain Domain, and the art is an orc. It's Orc Prince. Like it's just Prince as an orc,
and he's clearly holding some sort of wand that is definitely shaped like whatever Prince changed his name to briefly in the 90s.
Yeah, he's definitely wearing that blouse from like the Chappelle Show episode.
Yeah,
you want
he's about to dunk on Charlie Murphy. But yeah. The abilities are just great, though. First off, although I am a little confused, though, because you clearly have this is clearly a purple rain, and
I know where you're going.
Prince based, but the first ability is Blessed Downpour, which is definitely blessing the rains down in Africa.
Yeah, it's the first ability
All of
of
the
it is
Serengeti.
Call of the Serengeti.
But you know what? It's okay. You can move more
Mix and
and more
match.
80s tropes in there. That seems fine.
Yeah.
Purple Rain, your second level ability, Curing Rain. Vengeful Rain, which deals you or any cast a spell that deals cold, lightning, or thunder damage requires a saving throw. You can expend a spell slot to impose disadvantage on the saving throw. Okay, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, like most of the abilities, I've gone through like the first 6 classes with a fine-tooth comb, and most of them are fine. You know, every single class I saw one ability at least that needed some work. So the druid, and some people might not actually get this one, but druid is Circle of the Worm, and if you look at the artwork, it's literally just straight out of David Lynch's Dune movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was
It
definitely.
really is.
It's definitely got the Worm Rider.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's great.
But I mentioned.
I mean, she even has the fucking hook attached to it.
I mentioned it to a couple of my other players yesterday, and they're like, "I don't get it." I'm like, oh, you've never seen the fucking movie, have you?
What movie?
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah. Well, they haven't
Timothy
seen the new
Chalamet?
one. Yeah. They haven't seen the new one either. Fucking people.
That's just bad.
I agree. Yeah. But yeah, it lets you do desert stuff. I think you can shapeshift into a worm at some point.
Hell yes.
I don't know
If you can't
exactly what it
shapeshift
was.
into a purple worm, I don't know what we're doing here.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a purple worm or something else, but
Better be.
Yeah.
The only worm worth its anything other than the worm that walks.
Yeah.
Which obviously I got to do an ecology on now.
Oh man, yeah, I hadn't even thought about that one. I don't know if there is an ecology in the Dragon magazine for that, but
there doesn't have to be a Dragon magazine ecology. You can
I know.
gather the information from the previous editions and put it together.
And then mention how they screwed it up for 5th edition.
Did they even include it in 5th edition? I don't think they did.
Probably not. That would be a screw up.
It does seem like a screw up, yeah.
So the fighter is the subclass is Action Hero, and this is one of my fucking favorites. Specifically because of the 10th level ability. At level 10, you get Montage. At 10th,
I feel like that should be just an ability that all the 80s characters get as a party or something.
Yeah. But at 10th level, you can spend 1 hour preparing for a specific monster, enemy, or challenging task by training, strategizing, or hyping yourself up. Once prepared, you gain 2 of the following benefits for 4 hours. And I'm not going to go over them. They're resistances and other saving throw stuff or more damage, etc. But I've already told all my players if I run this and you play the Action Hero and you make it to 10th level and you're going to do the montage, you have to fucking describe your montage for it to work.
Oh, absolutely.
I need to know exactly how you're hyping yourself up.
I need to close my eyes and you need to bring me there.
Exactly.
We're doing a montage.
I need a motherfucking montage. So the monk is Wave the Crane. To nobody's surprise. Yeah, you're just the Karate Kid. The level 11 ability is called No Mercy. level 17, first aim to stand, then aim to soar. Then we get to one of our favorites, the Paladin, Oath of the Highlands.
Definitely have Connor McLeod there wearing his trench coat and a tartan.
Oh yeah. Paladins of the Highlands worship the same god, but there is no organized religion or society because the god's tenets state that in the end, I shall have only one champion. This means that each paladin of the Highlands lives a solitary, lonely, and dangerous life, constantly hunting or being hunted by their own kind.
That's amazing.
Oh,
I love it.
It's great. At level 3, you get the ability to sense when other Highlanders are near.
Hell yes. Fuck divine
that's
sense.
a whole
Sense
campaign
Highlander
right there.
That's a whole solo campaign is what that is.
Yeah, but I mean, they have abilities based on dueling, aka going one-on-one with other Highlanders.
That's awesome. That really is. Like that's 100% 80s.
Oh yeah, no, I saw that one. That was absolutely one of my just favorite ones. The Ranger is Ghost Hunter, with the title of "I Fear No Ghost." It's just
Honestly, I wish that was Artificer.
yeah, that they would have to have included an Artificer in here. You're not
Yeah,
wrong. You're not
Artificer
wrong.
isn't in the SRD though, is it?
It is not, no.
It's
Yeah.
not. So
That's the problem. They
yeah.
can't.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Ranger's fine. I would have preferred it as well, but it works.
Like, that's the one time I'll say the Artificer makes the most sense, you know?
In an 80's campaign, the Artificer actually fits perfectly.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have a problem with that one. Level 3, you get a ghostly companion. You know, you get Slimer.
Yeah, as far as like the Artificer goes, Waples, I think I'm gonna say that maybe Egon was an Artificer. Not really sure the rest of them were.
Oh,
If we're trying to class out the OG but Ghostbusters,
yeah,
like
Yeah.
Egon was the Brainiac. He was the Artificer. The rest of them not so much.
Venkman's a bard. He's a con
Yeah,
artist.
he's definitely a charisma character for sure.
Yeah.
Ray Stance. I don't know. Wizard. He's really deep in the lore.
Yeah. He would be some sort of a sage.
Yeah.
The thing is they all use the tech, though.
Yeah, they do. That's true.
But in this setting, in the 80's adventures, the ghost traps and all that stuff, they're just magic items.
Yep.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Which fits great because you don't have to be a particular class to use it.
Mhm.
You just get your ghost kit and go, how does this work? Don't cross the streams? All right.
Yep. Their level 15 ability.
So we're going to do the one thing you explicitly told us not to do.
Hell yeah.
The level 15 ability is Master of the Keys. I am the key master. I'm the gatekeeper. The Rogue is a relic hunter, aka Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
I love this Dragonborn Indiana Jones.
Yeah, it's so good. The level 3 ability is Whip Master. It lets you do things. You can use the interact with an object action with a whip.
Hell yeah.
That's hot.
Yeah, you do get spell casting. It's a little weird though. It's wizard spells using wisdom, but you only get up to 4th level wizard spells, so it's pretty low end. A la like the Paladin or the Ranger.
Yeah, but it makes sense.
Yeah, I don't hate it by any means. The Sorcerer is Synthetic Bloodline. It's Terminator.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this one was kind of
or a replicant.
Yeah, it could be, except if you look at the hand and the eye in the artwork, like it's definitely Terminator. At level 1, you gain eyes in the dark, which gives you double sight, but your eyes glow red. So,
neat.
Yeah, kind of an interesting one. I mean, you're still a sorcerer, so you still get all the sorcerer stuff.
Cylon.
Yeah. Okay, I guess it could. Well, Cylon was 70's, so
close enough.
No, it came out in the 2000s. What are you talking about?
Oh, go die in a fire.
Whoa!
I hate that show with a passion.
I've never seen it, so I'm taking a lot of offense.
Well, okay. So let me go ahead and dive into this real quick. When Battlestar Galactica got re-released, I watched the miniseries as like 2 episodes, and it was fucking awesome. It was really fun to watch. Good storyline, great action. I'm like, okay, well now I'm going to sit down and watch the show as it comes out, and I did, and I sat through the entire first season, and and nothing happened. Literally nothing ever happened. It was the most boring thing I'd ever watched in my life at that point. So at that point, I was like, yeah, I'm done. This thing sucks. I'm down, out. So fuck that show.
But man, it's wait till season 3 when it starts really getting cool.
Ugh.
You're one of those people.
I had a really hard time, and I failed at getting people to watch Avatar because Avatar, like season 1, is kind of really like safe and very kiddish. But like once season 2 hits and Toph shows up, it's like the fucking best.
Well, and the same thing with like that's when The Rock shows up. The boulder.
Conflicted.
And like even the first like couple episodes of like I was going to say League of Legends, but Arcane are like really kind of like hard to get by if you don't like that kind of show. But like once it gets past it, it's like it's amazing. I believe that's what Battlestar
I
Galactica
disagree with
is.
that for Arcane. I don't think like it kind of.
It got me quick. Yeah, right out of the gate.
It got a lot of people quick, but there are a lot of people that I try to get to watch the show. Like I couldn't get past episode 2. Man, it was too slow.
What was the Star Wars show like that? The cartoon.
Yeah, because the Clone Wars,
Clone Wars. Yeah,
a couple episodes were a movie that they split up into multiple things. So
yeah, I watched the first 5-6 episodes. I was like, this is boring. I don't like any of these characters. I never watched it anymore. But everybody says if you can get to the second or third season, it gets really good. If I have to watch all the way to the second season for it to get good, it's not happening.
Yeah.
No, I just tell people to start at the second season. You know who the characters are. Just fuck it.
All right. So the Warlock is the patron of greed. It is, in fact, Michael Douglas from the movie Wall Street. If you look at the art. As an orc. Yep. And I have not had a chance to look over any of his stuff, but
his invocations short selling.
Magnet of Greed.
But it's too close to home now, man.
Yeah, his level of 14 ability, you can turn creatures into gold.
I mean, who doesn't want to do that?
For real. Then the wizard is the architect of abominations. I actually had to sort of look into this one to figure out exactly what it was, because my initial thought was it's the movie The Thing, but it's actually The Fly with Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, it's very good, The Fly.
Yep. And you get you later on higher levels, you can turn into a giant fly-like creature. The level 2 ability, which is the first one you get, is really kind of wonky. We can actually talk about this one. So it'll probably need some sort of a rework. As part of casting a spell, if you are not currently poisoned, you can choose to apply the poisoned condition to yourself, which lasts for 1 hour. When you do, you can either reduce the spell's casting time to a bonus action or increase its effective spell level by 1 for the purpose of calculating damage, duration, or difficulty to resist without consuming a higher level spell slot. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your intelligence modifier, blah, blah, blah. So,
wait, what?
Yeah, well, it's the increasing its level. Nobody's going to do that. It's always going to be done turning it into a bonus action.
Yeah, you get quicken spell as a wizard.
You get quicken spell as a wizard.
Yeah, once per short rest, sure.
Well, it's more than that. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your intelligence modifier.
But it says if you're not currently poisoned, which it poisons you for 1 hour. So if you short rest after it, so.
And you got to get poisoned, which then makes the attacks.
Which then makes the rest of the combat kind of suck, unless you're just casting spells that have a DC.
Unless you have, I don't know, a paladin there with you that just lay on hands and removes your poison.
Yeah,
sure. I mean, yeah, if you're going to burn through your paladin's actions in order to, cast multiple bonus actions, I don't think that's that powerful. I mean, one quicken spell per combat, really?
Yeah, but the having to poison yourself is really detrimental. So I don't know if it's too powerful or if it's not powerful enough.
So yeah, you're right. Everything's going to be moved down to a bonus action. I will say that the poison condition, I don't think it's that big of a detriment.
For a wizard, I don't think most of the time.
Especially for a wizard.
If you're not making attack rolls,
it's not all of your spells. It's one spell.
Yeah. So fireball.
Yeah, so you cast a fireball and then follow up in the same round with a firebolt.
Fireball. Yeah. So yeah, the poison doesn't matter at all. I mean, just take a short rest afterwards.
Yeah, poison on a wizard it doesn't do anything for the most part.
You're already failing all your saves anyways, so.
Yeah, I mean, if you're building your character around this, you just pick things that are going to have saving throws instead of attack rolls, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right.
Doesn't seem that potent, doesn't seem that detrimental. It's fine.
Yeah.
If it basically said that you're stunned for the next round, that might balance it better, because poison is a meh effect. Like, no one's going to care. So many ways to get rid of it. You're already failing stuff.
Poisoned for an hour, though.
Yeah, but
I think the poison for an hour is specifically so you can't do it again for an hour.
Right.
It's sort of that time. It's it's giving you a reason for an hour that you just can't do this shit.
Sure.
Then just say that you can only do it once per short rest.
Yeah.
You don't need to have the poison. If you want a detriment, make it stun.
Thematically, it's appropriate for the fly.
Yeah.
All right. So a couple of the magic items I wanted to take a look at. The Club of Breaking Fast. Man, it's the fucking Breakfast Club.
Breakfast Club, yeah.
Yeah. The sturdy wooden club is carved to resemble an elongated loaf of bread. It has a faint aroma of freshly baked dough and sizzling bacon. You get a +1 to attack and damage rolls with it. Once per day as an action, you can tap it on the ground and conjure a breakfast feast for up to 5 creatures. This hearty meal includes eggs, toast, fruit, and bacon.
Or one hobbit.
Oh yeah. I love that they turned the Breakfast Club into a magic item. They had to weasel that movie in there somehow.
You gotta, if you're doing an 80s thing, you gotta have some John Hughes in there.
Oh, absolutely. I think every John Hughes movie needs to be in this thing somehow.
Oh, that's all another one.
Oh, okay. Which one?
16 Candles is in there.
Yeah. That's that one. We'll actually kind of look at that one.
Hell yeah! There's a fanny pack of holding.
Yep, fanny pack of holding, the doll of the Cabbage Patch. The Magic 8 Ball is in there. Hey, Chris, roll a D10 real quick. Yeah, I know you got a D10. Pull up a D10. Just roll a D10. Right. You're shaking up the Magic 8 Ball right now.
It's an 8.
Misfortune lingers close at hand. Good job.
Well, hell yeah! There's a jacket of membership.
Yeah. There is in fact a jacket of membership. They have a master of viewing. It's a fucking viewmaster. The owlbear of storytelling, which is Teddy Ruxpin.
I got one of those. Literally within the next room, I got one of those.
Yeah, terrifying creature. The spectral container, which is your ghost trap for the Ghostbusters.
So can I tell you a quick story about Teddy Ruxpin?
It's probably the same story I've heard everybody else tell about Teddy Ruxpin, so you go right ahead.
So, when I was going to college, I chose the Rye Institute of Technology as my college of choice, and I got enrolled there. And one of the main selling points of people trying to get people to go into that college was the fact that the guy who created and sold Teddy Ruxpin was a DeVry graduate. And that I was kind of like, cool, that's awesome. So by the time I got to the college and I tried to find people who knew what a Teddy Ruxpin was, I tried to see if that was still part of their marketing material. And it was. So I started asking some kids around. I was like, hey, did you know that the guy who made the Teddy Ruxpin was a DeVry graduate? And they were like, no, what's a Teddy Ruxpin? Because they were all so much younger, they didn't know what the fuck it was. And I think they still use it as a selling point. If they do, it's pretty sad.
I mean, at this point, yeah, because your foray into college was 20 years ago, nearly.
Yeah.
So this one, Dan is definitely going to appreciate. The Sword of Six Fingers. It is a rapier, as it should be. This slender, finely crafted rapier is engraved with subtle markings. The hilt flares out in an ornate style, wrapping your hand in a delicate cage that only a skilled craftsman could achieve. You can use the Sword of Six Fingers in your offhand as a light weapon, applying your proficiency bonus to the attack roll. If you have an ability such as the Dual Wielder feat that already grants proficiency with your offhand attack, you gain an additional +2 bonus to attack rolls made with the Sword of Six Fingers. It is, however, cursed. After attuning to the Sword of Six Fingers for 1 week, an additional finger begins to grow on your dominant hand, binding you to the sword. You cannot unattune from the Sword of Six Fingers willingly unless you remove the extra finger. A remove curse or similar spell can end the bond and allow you to unattune. I think this is there's a little bit of a missed opportunity here, and I would probably include this in a campaign if I run it. That curse, not only is it going to give you the six finger, there's also going to be a gentleman out looking for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Who thinks that you killed his father?
Maybe you did.
Maybe.
Maybe you shouldn't have killed him.
Yeah, I mean, that's on you. Maybe you shouldn't be a dickbag and kill people's dads, especially over a sword that they crafted for you. They've got Indiana Jones's whip, the whip of the relic hunter. Then there's the artifacts, and these are the fun ones. There's the capacitor of flux that allows it. It does allow time travel.
Absolutely.
The horn of grace, I thought this was from the movie Legend, because that's the only like unicorn movie other than The Last Unicorn, but it verifies it in like the first sentence. The horn of grace is a powerful relic of legend.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there are the 16 seals, aka the 16 candles.
Candles, yeah.
And they are also magical artifacts, and every one of them does something different. So that is what is in the PDF. I'm still looking forward to getting the final product. Can't wait. I was talking to all of my players yesterday, and fucking everybody is like, it needs to hurry up and come out. We're ready. We want to play.
Yeah, I want somebody to run an online game so we can stream it. I will dress up as an 80s character of my choosing.
Oh, hell, that's a great idea.
You're just dressing up as the Dread Pirate Roberts.
I mean, you don't know that.
Inconceivable.
Yes, we do. Yes, we all know it.
Shut up. I might show up with like a fluorescent spandex. You don't fucking know.
And then you'll rip it off and be revealed as a Dread Pirate Roberts.
Maniac on the floor.
Yeah. I really think that the barbarian though should have been a pro wrestler.
Oh yeah, that is something that is missing here.
Yeah, like a fucking Randy Savage or a Hulk Hogan type character with grappling abilities.
Mm-hmm.
But grappling's so hard in 2014 D&D.
Yeah,
it's a little better in 2024, but they didn't have access to that, so they really couldn't build something off of that. I think with the 2024 rules, they could actually come up with something pretty well. But I think it's too late in their development to make that swap.
Yeah, but I mean, the character could have bonuses for grappling, etc., as well as all the like a bunch of charisma abilities, because that's what a pro wrestler is going to do. You're going to come out,
got a lot of riz.
You're going to come out. You're going to shit talk the opponent to take aggro, like things like that.
Hey, we can still make one.
Oh yeah,
all right. The Grumpy Dungeon Master's Guide to the 80s. Yep.
Yes, I love this plan.
Just make a good official one and just give it to them for free. Like, hey, just add this to your book.
Yeah. Yep. I love it.
Yeah, we should make a second subclass for each of the classes.
Oh man.
Ooh,
everybody, no, seriously, that's even if we don't actually do it, we should think about this. Everybody think about what subclasses you could have made for an 80s adventure.
I mean, you already called out one wrestler.
Yeah.
What is it? Path of the Squared Circle for a wrestler barbarian.
Yeah. Path of the Squared Circle. That's so good.
Yeah, barbarian or monk. You could either one. You could have done a wrestler with. Yeah,
and I appreciate the Karate Kid shout out, but I feel like with Cobra Kai being in like the modern day, it's in everyone's face right now. It doesn't feel as 80s as it could be. Like there's so many great action movies that are kung fu fighting from the fucking 80s that just throwing some Jean-Claude Van Damme. Which, by the way, if you guys haven't seen it, the Fall Guy movie. Have you seen the Fall Guy movie?
I didn't want to watch it. It looked terrible.
No,
it was hilarious, and there was great throwbacks to the original show, including having Lee Majors and the chick that played Cody in the original in the final scenes. But it was great, and I feel like that was the kind of action star that you kind of need. You need a Fall Guy sort of guy. It's like just a stuntman that's doing crazy ass shit.
A stuntman would work. Yeah.
But there's all kinds of things you can do. But in the movie, speaking of Jean-Claude Van Damme, there was a set of dogs that belonged to one of the characters, and one of the dogs was called Jean-Claude, and he only responded in French to basically "sick balls."
Oh, sick balls! Oh yeah,
Jean-Claude attack!
Yeah, Chopper, sick balls. That's an 80s reference.
Oh yeah.
I think there should be a rogue subclass with some kind of play on the word Paxton. And basically, it's the character Bill Paxton from all the 80s movies. And it's the guy that kind of passes him off as like a soldier, passes himself off as a doctor. Like, kind of lean into the actor aesthetic and basically give you all these really cool charisma feats to let you do stuff and like proficiency to do a wide variety of things. Kind of a bard. It could be a bard. I was thinking rogue just because most of his characters were like smarmy, kind of like, evil-ish characters, or at least
yeah, that's almost a background. That's almost a background.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But so Dan, since you're talking about Jean-Claude Van Damme, did you ever watch Jean-Claude Van Johnson?
I did not.
Go watch it. It is one of the greatest shows that's ever been made.
Okay.
It is Jean-Claude Van Damme as Jean-Claude Van Damme as a super spy.
What?
Yeah, it's on.
Okay.
It was an Amazon show. Came out a few years back. 2017, I think, 2018. It was amazing. It's fucking hilarious.
Oh, okay. I'll check it out.
Yeah, since you love 80s aesthetic and
whatnot. Absolutely, yeah.
Also, Wafels had never heard of the Fall Guy before.
My wife had never heard of the Fall Guy either. She's like, "This is based on an 80s TV show." I was like, "Yeah, it had like 5 seasons, 120 episodes."
It was fucking huge back in the 80s.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, Lee Majors, $6 Million Man. He's very famous.
Yep.
Lee who?
Oh my God! Shut up.
I'm gonna have to make a fire and help you find it so you can fall in it.
So $6 Million Man, you're just talking about, someone that has cancer and needs to go through treatments.
Oh my God.
I mean,
somebody save me from this damn priest.
All right, let's move off of the 80s topics, unfortunately, because I could go all night about this.
Mm-hmm.
I know you, Chris and Christian had something they wanted to rap about. So,
oh my God! So, all right. So, Christian, you watched the new videos for all the new classes, right? Or new monsters, right?
New monsters, I did for
they went over
and Fey.
fairies, aberrations, and oozes. Yeah. I'm going to narrow down on something very particular for aberrations when you get to it. Okay, and I might go on a rant. I'll try not to.
You might.
I might. So why don't you go ahead and kick us off with like fairies and the oozes, and then we'll get to the aberrations.
Okay. I mean, there wasn't much to say about oozes. They didn't really. I guess that's why they lumped it into aberrations. They didn't really have a whole lot other than like oozes. They're gooey, and we made them, and like they didn't really say much. In none of the videos did they really show much of like talk about very specifics for the most part.
Right.
So for oozes, there wasn't much other than they have there will be a few new varieties for some of your oozes that you might see. It's kind of the same thing they've done where if you had one stat block, now you might have 2, or 3, some variants to use. So that's pretty much all they say, or all I remember them saying about oozes. They spent most of the time talking about aberrations. And they did kind of like when they decided to talk about monstrosities, they defined, okay, what is in D&D an aberration? And for this edition and going forward, their definition of aberration is a creature that is from the far realm, created by a creature from the far realm, or influenced and altered by a creature from the far realm.
Okay.
So,
where you're going with this.
Yeah. So you have your classic things like beholders are aberrations, mind flayers are aberrations. They did move some things into aboliths are aberrations, all things that have kind of an alien plan, things that are so inhuman and evil that there's one of the things that like they talk about like demons and devils and angels and all the other creatures of the multiverse can kind of combine and be like, well, we may not like each other, but those things are really bad.
Yep.
Okay.
So they talked to they did move, and I guess this was visible in an older book. They moved Gith Yonki and Gith Zerai into the aberration category. They are no longer humanoids, and they said they do that because the reason they became Githyanki, Githzaragi, they became Gith is because they were so heavily altered and experimented on by the Mind Flayers that it took them from whatever they used to be to being Gith.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I wanted to talk about. And
Go ahead,
essentially,
rant, and then I'll tell you why you're wrong.
I'm not 100% upset that they made Gith aberrations. What I'm upset by now is they're going out of their way to do something that they specifically said they would never do, and to cause a bunch of issues in previous releases throughout 5th edition, where they don't want to basically release something that's not humanoid as a player race. They want all the player races that can happen to always be humanoid. Okay, that's why goblins were humanoid. That's why Fey were or fairies were humanoid and stuff, because they were all playable races. Now they've gone out of their way to say that Gith are not humanoid; they are aberrations. So, what's the deal?
Fey, right?
Huh?
Well, they
Goblins are
answered
Fey,
that.
right?
They actually answered that question. Maybe you didn't watch, but they specifically said, they hinted at this, that they said, yeah, we know that what's currently available to you for these playable creatures are listed as humanoid. But without spoiling too much, let's just say in some upcoming books, you'll be introduced to playable species that have a type that is not humanoid.
So that's horseshit, because that's what we said needed to happen in the damn Domains of Death book with the stupid revenants on all the undead classes. Let them be undead. Who cares? And they're like, no, we can't do that. We can't do that. They have to basically be humanoid so people don't get confused, and we're scared of the small players. Are we stupid, or do we know what we're doing? Pick one. Stop wish-washing back and forth. I'm mad because all these really cool undead races came out, and they're all humanoid. None of them are constructs. None of them are undead, and I'm mad because it was wasted potential. And
what are these undead races that came out?
so they didn't come out. They said that they weren't going to release them because they didn't want to have non-humanoid races. So there was in the Unearthed Arcana, they had the races that came out in the Domains of Dread book.
Yep.
And there was the Revenant, there was a vampire, half vampire spawn thing. There was a Frankenstein monster, which was a construct and stuff like that. Really, really, really cool stuff. And the book is really good from a flavor standpoint with the Domains of Dread, but the new races they added just suck because they're all humanoid. They're all affected by stuff. They're not affected by anything undead. It was a total flavor fail from what they did with the Unearthed Arcana versions of them. And they were very clear, and they said that it had to happen because we didn't want people to be confused over, not having a playable race be not humanoid. Because we're too stupid.
And they have very clearly changed course on that and changed their mind of saying, no, that is definitely not where they're going anymore. I mean, they had already done that because in was it Spelljammer, what had the Autognome, that was a construct.
They also did in Wild Beyond the Witchlight, the fairy races, well, as you might expect, Fey.
Yeah. So they had already started to change that. So yeah,
well, they didn't do it soon enough.
No, they didn't. They missed their opportunity with Ravenloft. I agree that I think the Dampier I'm okay with being a humanoid because they're kind of supposed to be. That kind of makes sense to me, but I think what were the other ones they did? That was the Reborn or whatever.
Yeah.
Could have easily been an undead. The other one, the Hag spawn, the whatever, they are Fey. That was one of the Fey races.
Also are not humanoids. They're clearly monstrosities in the actual Adventurer's Guide. So they'd already been developed, going down that path. I guess when you're looking at Yuan-Ti, they're still humanoids, which is weird. But
yeah,
I don't think they will be anymore. I think those are one of the ones that are going to get reclassified.
I think they will. But here's the thing: base game, base 2024 PHB, everybody's a humanoid, right? Even Dragonborn.
Yep.
So all of these other additional, species, races, whatever you have it, that are of different classification, they're additional things that you do not have to allow in your game. The only thing you have to allow in your game is your PHP races. And that you
So
don't even
why
have
aren't
to
the
do that.
Dragonborns dragons?
I think that we did an entire ecology on that.
Yeah.
Just go back to last week or the week before, whenever I did it.
So it's funny we did that ecology, and then I actually was having a conversation with two of my D&D players yesterday, and they were asking me questions that we covered in the ecology, and I couldn't remember the answers.
Tell them to go back and listen to the podcast.
That's what I told them, because I don't fucking remember.
I agree that, Chris, that did they miss an opportunity to do this earlier? They sure did, but are they doing it now? It sure looks that way. But I think
I actually don't think it's a problem, just because it's going back to the way it was. Like, this is how it used to be.
It's not a problem to do it. I do like actually that it's optional, that your core standard races are all your standard humanoid things, and that's fine. And then you have, when they do expansion books or campaign setting books, they can put species in those that fit that campaign or fit that expansion, but it's always an optional rule. It's always optional. That way you don't have to do it. You don't have to feel compelled because it's in the core book that you have to let it into your game.
So I know you guys always like to default back to it's optional. You don't have to let it into your game. None of you fuckers run Adventure League.
Yeah,
neither do
that's
you.
also optional.
And you also don't have to do that. That's optional too, man.
No, you have to follow the letter of the law.
You know what you could do? You could just run D&D games at your local game shop, of which you have a very good working relationship with the owner. You don't have to make it
doesn't have to be
Adventure
League. You could just run pickup games and advertise that, hey, we're going to run this game, at this time at the game shop.
If they were giving you shit for Adventures League, actually giving you swag or making a reason to run it, sure. But I mean, you've told me before, you're getting literally nothing and haven't been getting anything from them for 2 years now. So,
and it doesn't look like they're going to continue it either. Because didn't you post something recently about some sort of Greyhawk based campaign that they're starting out?
They're releasing a Greyhawk base campaign for Adventures League to start.
But it wasn't. But it also said it wasn't related to Adventures League.
I think it's something separate, but same. Like that's something separate, but it could be run in Adventures League if you wanted to.
Okay.
Well, there we go. They're moving on to it. It's optional. It is optional. You don't have to allow it. You don't have to run Adventures League.
If you're running a real standard fantasy game, you don't have to allow Thrycreen and Plasmoid in the game. Nobody says you had to.
I don't always allow the PHB races. In fact, the last game I ran, I did not allow gnomes or halflings.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I'm the same way.
This may be a little
Fey-based goblins were more common for the small races.
This may be a little aside to the conversation that we're having, but in a more serious note, I do like not restricting races, but saying, hey, in this area, this is the percentage population breakdown of what you could have as a race in this area. And then kind of basically limit what the players choose based off of that. So, like, if they're 0.0001 chance there's a gnome here, you're not going to get to play a gnome because it is super rare. Unless you roll a D100 and you get that 100.
I mean, that's,
twice.
I guess, kind of the detriment, but also the benefit of having the primary campaign setting for D&D being Forgotten Realms. All of those old modules, literally, for every city, has that breakdown.
Yeah. So, it's what I like to do.
And maybe whenever they come out with the next, when the next what is it, the much more expansive Forgotten Realms campaign guide that they've promised, maybe they'll actually do that. Maybe not. We'll see though.
So, I don't think I need the exact price. I do it by campaign. I mean, you did it in your recent Frostbite campaign. You decided, what were the available options that were going to be allowed. Yeah. I'm going to do it again when I run Planescape and give it, these are the options that are allowed. I do it every time I run a campaign. I give a limited list of, these are the options you can choose.
Yeah.
Like in the one, I allowed elves, but I only allowed one elf. Because elves are rare in the kind of world and campaign I was running. Most of the elves have retreated back into the, the Feywild, and so elves are rare. So you could have one.
So real quick, this is from Magic Con Chicago. Is Legends of Greyhawk part of Adventures League? No, Legends of Greyhawk is a separate campaign with separate rules. It takes inspiration from past and current organized play campaigns, but it's completely on its own. Adventurers League will continue as a community content program.
Yeah, I think that's where kind of my line is becoming drawn here soon. You can still run the books and the actual book campaigns, but they don't have the infrastructure, at least that I've seen, and it could be on the Discord someplace where there's some guy breaking down like all the really cool adventures that are out there that are really well written by like named writers in the D&D sphere. But right now anyone can just put up any content they want on DM's Guild, flag it with the appropriate numbering system that's needed, and you can play that in Adventures League. So the quality, not saying that the people are bad, but the quality may or may not be there. You're not really sure if that person's going to continue writing. I release a couple things and stop writing for a long time. I don't want to be running something and then all of a sudden the guy stops writing and there's no continuation of that story. That's just going to ruin it for my players. So
yeah,
I get that it's cool that it's all community based, but the prices aren't regulated. Like anyone can charge whatever they want for whatever it is, and it could just be a one shot and it's $17. Like that comes out of my pocket, and I'm not paying someone else so I can run Adventures League at the store. I'll buy the books and run the books, but that's kind of where my line is drawn.
Yep, I'm the same way. If I'm paying money, I'm getting physical product.
I'll say that, Chris, you've been running Adventures Leagues for so long now, almost like a decade. I imagine.
Since 4th edition.
You've done your time. You don't have to do it anymore, and you don't. And especially if you're not getting anything, or they're not giving you the materials to run the shit. I mean,
but Ma, I can change him.
Yeah, no, you can't. It's you run, and it's not really supported by WotC anymore, is what it says. So it's,
Yeah.
But Ma, he said we could get married.
Guys, we've got important shit to get to. So
yeah, let's do this. I really want to hear this.
Real quick, before we get to that, I have a real quick short story where I was standing in my bedroom talking with my wife. She was playing Shopkeeper Simulator. She showed me her cool pile of boxes that she had and stuff like that, and showed me her little shop store. Storekeeper Simulator is a really popular game right now on the YouTubes and the Twitters. So when I was there, I ripped a really nasty fart. Okay, it was toxic, and I quickly ran out of the room. And I went into the bathroom where my daughter had just gotten out of the shower, and she needed me to dry her hair. Well, that fart lingered from the bedroom into the bathroom, where my daughter started gagging. Okay. And so now go on, Dan.
You got to change your diet, Chris. Dear God. Okay.
What happens to me?
Well, I'm just going to read. I'm going to read a little bit of information about this creature first, and then we're going to delve into the past, the deep, dark depths of the past. But first, we're going to start in D&D 3.5, Monster Manual 3. The creature is the Sussurus. Ever heard of it?
Have not.
It sounds kind of sus.
How do we spell this?
Sussurus. A Sussurus attacks anyone carrying a torch, wielding a flame, or otherwise tainting the air that the creature needs to survive. It also attacks undead on sight. Otherwise, it generally keeps to itself. Still, if aggravated, it attacks swiftly and brutally, shredding its foes until they can use no more of its precious air. So literally, you walk by this motherfucker and he's in a cave nearby. He's just coming out and he's gonna fucking maul you. So description. This is the 3.5 description. This headless humanoid shape appears to be covered in glass shards that encircle hollows that run all along the way through its body. It lumbers forward on all four limbs, and the slight rasping sound of its scales scraping the floor is mostly masked by a soothing drone that comes from its body. It's an aberration in 3.5, but rolling it back, the first time this creature appeared was actually before Dragon Magazine even existed. It appeared in White Dwarf number 9.
Ooh.
So it appeared in a module in White Dwarf number 9. This is after first edition came out, so it's a first edition monster, and this is 1978 November issue, and then it was then reprinted in Fiend Folio in 1981 because I guess Gygax liked it enough. So let me describe the room that you enter where this creature is, and it'll kind of make sense. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, it doesn't make sense at all, but it's kind of cool. Okay, you walk into a 40-foot domed ceiling room called the Drone Song Hall. Tattered shreds of once plush drapery hang from the walls. In the center is a 5-foot-high stonework platform on which is a cage of silver bars built into the platform. In this cage stands a Sussurus, from which emanates the droning wind of the trees noise. See below. There is a secret false stone in the eastern side of the platform, behind which is a keyhole. The key from 11 will fit in this hole and open. When the key is turned or the lock picked, the bars in the side of the cage slide open and into the platform, freeing the beast. Relocking causes the bars to rise again. Inside the cage, there's a secret trapdoor in the floor, which opens to reveal a 40-foot deep crypt in the size and shape of 11. The crypt is deep with the belongings of the dead. Gold candelabras, gems, jewelry, silver flasks, everyday objects, tools, weapons. None are magical, however. Total value of this hoard is left to the DM's discretion. Should the Sussurus cease its drone song, then all of the skeletons in the Lichway, the 2 zombies in the ghoul in 4, and the skeleton in 28 all awaken. 50 to 75% of the skeletons will head immediately towards the treasure. The rest will then roam the complex. So this weird-ass creature, who will chase you down if you fart, or taint its air, or bring a torch near it, also fucking hates undead. And it makes a weird song called the drone song whenever there's like wind blowing through it. It's essentially like a glass sponge that has a whole bunch of holes in it that makes this weird ass song that essentially make undead fall asleep. It makes them catatonic. So, and it's super fucking weird. So the description from White Dwarf, which is the same description that is similar to the description in Fiend Folio. The exoskeleton of the Sussurus is honeycombed with small ducts and passageways through which the beast continuously draws in air on which it feeds. This constant inhaling creates the beast's characteristic drone song, which only ceases when the beast dies. It is reminiscent of wind blowing through trees and can be heard up to a quarter of a mile away through unobstructed airways or beyond one closed door. The drone song reverberates through corridors, making it difficult to pinpoint the direction from which it emanates, but it will become noticeably louder as the beast is approached. The noise has a peculiar effect on undead creatures, causing them to feel at peace, whereupon they sleep the sleep of the dead. Any number may be slept, but otherwise it acts as a second level cleric for undead, i.e. skeletons are automatically slept, zombie rolling 6 or less, blah blah blah. The 7-foot-tall beast has no external organs, and it sees and hears through vibrations and disturbances in the air. Thus they can detect the presence of invisible objects and beings. They're often seen immobile in windy locations, taking the air and are surprisingly fast, aggressive, and dangerous. If encountered, delivering a vicious hug on a roll of 18+ with either claw, which crushes its victim onto the numerous bony spikes which cover its exoskeleton. They loathe fire and will immediately attack any torch or lantern bearer in an attempt to extinguish the oxygen-consuming flames. Sussurus, apparently this is plural, are believed to have a lifespan of at least 1,000 years, and they communicate by means of subtle variations in their drone song.
So what type of creature are they, since they have a lifespan?
In 3rd edition, is the only time it's really defined. And they're aberrations.
Aberrations, okay.
In 1st edition, they appeared in the Fiend Folio, so one could assume fiends, but they're neutral. They're not like even in 1st edition, they're neutral creatures.
Yeah, just don't breathe their air.
Just don't breathe their air. Don't get near them. And but I actually kind of like the setup for this thing. Like you see this weird creature in a cage, and you have no idea why it's there, so you guys decide to destroy it, and then suddenly every just kind of catatonic in the place comes and attacks you.
Yeah, it's a trap that you don't realize is a trap.
So,
by the way, dictionary sussurration is whispering, murmuring, or rustling.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently, sussurai, which you mentioned is the plural of it. That's not a word.
Yeah. So, in 2nd edition, somebody tried to make sense of this nonsensical monster, and I'm not sure why. And they kind of related it. So that's the second picture I sent, where it looks like a bunch of bamboo lashed together.
Yep.
So this appeared in Monster Compendium 14 Fiend Folio in second edition. Yeah, Monster Compendium 14. It's a deep dive there. And they kind of reclassified them as distant cousins of Shambling Mounds. And so things like Warp Wood did extra damage to them. But it does a lot of the same stuff, except the Sleep of the Dead also works on everybody else.
Oh, okay. Yeah, looking at the artwork, because they're made of bamboo, I would say that's like the Oriental Adventures version of Sussurus.
Yeah, I think it might be. Like, you're walking through a bamboo forest with your samurai companions, and suddenly, oh no, I'm feeling so tired.
Yep.
Oh, Gumo-san! Oh, God!
Yeah, so yeah, the Habitat and Society and Ecology entry in here says, similar to the Shambler cousins, Susuri are found only in warm regions or heavy rainfall vegetation. Dense clumps of bamboo or other reed-like plants are the favored layers of Sussurus. Despite their solitary nature, Susuri have been known to communicate to each other by means of slight and subtle variations in their drone song. However, it is only very rarely that two or more are encountered. Susuri are often compete with Shambling Mounds for territory and prey, thus most Susuri attack Shamblers on sight, apparently. And again, in second edition, they're neutral. So in third edition, they're not too deadly. I mean, 60 hit points, 40 speed. They get a climb speed, decent AC and attack bonus. But their big thing is that they essentially just emit a hold undead spell at all times, and they have blind sight. And if you attack them, they have a barbed defense, and they ghost touch anybody, and they can see the invisible. They're weird,
fucking ghost touch, man.
Weird fucking creatures.
I fucking hated ghost touch.
Oh yeah. But yeah, like, listen, only you can prevent dungeon fires, but also vampires. I fucking hate those guys. I think is like their motto. I think these are the weirdest fucking things I've seen in a long time. But yeah, they're aberrations. They're not terribly intelligent, at least in third edition. Got a 7 int, Wisdom 11, Charisma 16. I don't know why I have a high Charisma as the sponge glass thing.
I mean, look at it. It's a mirror.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the Sussurus. Hopefully coming soon to a 2024 Monster Manual for you.
So Googling it, I found the 5e one already.
Oh yeah, I saw somebody converted it.
Yeah, it's obviously it's not the real one, but it is conversion.
Yeah, the stats are okay.
Yeah, I mean it's got the drone song that we were talking about, and it's not a permanently on thing, but as a bonus action they can begin it. They've got the barbed defense. You mentioned the blind sight.
Give it a lot more in hit points.
Yeah, a lot more hit points. 21 strength.
Yeah, that's the strength it had in third edition too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So actually, the stats are the same as the third edition. Language, Sussurus.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sad there's not an actual ecology article on that one, because
it's such a weird deep dive. I mean, but like here, go ahead.
I was gonna say, because you know how so many of the ecology articles are some wizard at a convention talking about how he did the study on these things. I feel that would be kind of interesting.
Well, if we're going like aberration in 2024's interpretation, like some fucking mind flayer made this shit to kill undead or something, because like literally the first line for third edition is, these peculiar creatures roam the subterranean realms, beholden no mortality but its quest to purge undead from the world. Its droning song lulls them into a stupor, making them easy prey for the creature. Sussurus thus often finds itself the target of intelligent undead who know how dangerous it is to them. Sussurus are also known to attack anyone bearing a torch or creating any kind of open flames. Blah blah blah. Yeah, precious air, don't fart near it.
I mean, if you think from like a world, like an evolution standpoint, like in Faerun, they've had undead for who knows how many centuries, and they're just everywhere. So eventually, a creature or a thing would start evolving its way to start handling undead, especially if it's a big threat with it,
Sure.
So it kind of makes sense from a Shambling Mound standpoint, where it's like, you're in my dungeon again. What the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, I actually don't mind like the alternate version. Like you said, it's like an Oriental Adventures version of the Sussurus. Like one's an Underdark version, one's the Oriental Adventures version. You find it on on a Japanese island somewhere.
Yeah, they're basically they're wind chimes or wind hollows.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, and you can do that out of the glass. You can do it out of bamboo. Literally anything with holes in it, like a sponge, can be
Yeah.
used for that.
It's just a weird, deep dive, neat monster that I've never seen in the game before, ever.
Yeah, especially if it's somewhat Oriental based kind of thing where like they have the weirdest monsters, man.
Oh my god, yes they do. The
Yeah.
the fucking vampire that's just a floating head and organs.
No,
Yeah.
I mean
Mhm.
they got shit weirder than that. They got like the what's
The
like a Doki
hopping ones,
Doki or
too.
the Moki Moki. It's just a ghost that follows you, and if you got to stop, turn to the side, and say after you, and for it to pass by you and not murder you. They got the one ghost that his whole job is he wants to show you his butthole. Like there's some weird monsters there.
That's just the concho monster.
Yeah.
I mean, getting for real, like the Kappa's amazing. You know, like
Yeah, I know how much you love them. You ran a whole damn LARP plot line with those.
they were the best.
Yeah, the Krasu is it's the Thai version of the it's just a head with a neck and organs that floats after you and eats people. Like
Mm-hmm.
they definitely have some fucked up monsters.
Yeah, I mean, every culture has their own weird mythology of different monsters. I mean, half the shit from The Witcher is all like Polish
Yep.
dark lore
Oh
and stuff.
man, yeah, Slavic mythology is
Yeah, it's just
definitely depressing.
yeah, they are.
The Yuletide cat. That's one of my favorite new ones I found out recently. It's this giant monstrous cat that prowled like Norway, and on New Year's Eve or on Christmas Eve, if you were not wearing brand new clothes, it would reach its paw into your room and like snatch you away.
Oh, that's the Grabbler. I've heard of him.
Yeah.
But that's not a demon that needs to show you his butthole kind of weird.
Then there's the Mare Luid, which is the undead
Mare
the undead horse that wants to be invited in.
No,
Yep.
you missed the best part. It's an undead horse head that comes through your window or your door and makes you have a rap battle with you. And if you fail the rap battle,
This is real. This is real, like lore, folklore.
If you fail the rap battle, it comes inside your house and drinks all your beer.
Hang on, I'm posting a link in our Discord general chat.
Oh no!
I love the Mary Lou.
Yeah. We've talked about it on here before.
Don't drink all my beer.
Aww.
Fucker.
Yep. You better be practicing them rap battles for Christmas.
Chebediah, did you fail the rap battle with the Mary Lou again this year? That's all the beer for all until New Year's. Sorry, Ma. I told you to practice your rhymes. Shit.
I mean, shit. Why don't you practice your dank rhymes?
I love the Mary Lou.
It's even better that it's from 1800 in Wales.
Right. I just love
it.
it drinks all your beer.
We all know people from Wales can't rap battle.
I'm gonna find you a Welsh rapper.
I'm sure I can just go to YouTube and find somebody right now.
Yeah, real quick.
Wouldn't take any time at all. All right. Well, anybody else have any last things they want to cover before we wrap this thing up?
Well, I'm not going to try to follow that up.
Oh God, no.
Listen, I didn't have to go very far. Welsh rapper, MC Eric. Know what he's known for? Pump up the jam, pump it up.
Really?
Yes.
No.
he created the hit song "Pump Up the Jam" by Technotronic.
Well, I'll be damned.
Well, okay, so if that's all you have to do to beat the Mary Lou, I think we're safe, and that's why he hasn't shown up here in the United States. He would get destroyed by the time he made it past like New Jersey.
Yeah, he would show up on the northern East Coast somewhere, and just fucking everybody in New York and Jersey would just wreck him.
I better try the West Coast. Oh God, it's worse over here.
You know, considering such a small country that Wales is, there's actually quite a big hip hop and urban culture there as far as music goes. There's an entire page dedicated to Welsh hip hop, and there's quite a few current bands that perform there.
I'm actually not even surprised by that.
And they look like, oh my god, they look like if the Beastie Boys were to not be as cool as they were, where Adidas and think dressing like Flava Flav with a clock was good.
Oh,
I don't know.
okay. So they're like 30 years behind where we're at.
I think so. Yeah.
Got it.
Oh my god.
You see that oftentimes, like some culture will catch on somewhere else, like ray gun. They like
Oh yeah.
catches on somewhere else, but it's decades behind where it is, in the actual country it's from. And then you end up with people like Ray Gun who can't dance.
Ruin it for everybody.
Yep. Anyway, all right, guys. Thanks for listening, guys.
Yep.
Thanks for chatting with us.
Beware the Sussurus.
Beware the
Oh,
Sussurus.
Don't fart,
Yeah,
especially
don't
you, Waples.
Yep.
My
And
tummy hurts.
Hey, and be practicing your rap battle for the Mary Lewid.
I'm
Oh
ready.
no.
Pump
Yep,
up the jam.
Got almost a year.
Yep.
Bye, Craig.
Good luck, everybody.